Hi, I'm Kim Curry, internet marketing major, and I am just a really multi-passionate personality. And I'm trying. My journey has led me from Indiana to Florida to kind of hone in on all those passions and bring them in together, and really learn the analytics behind social media campaigns and content creation and marketing, um, and put those to use. So diving right in, Green talks about number one is going back to your childhood and remembering those inclinations you had, digging for signs in your earliest years. You have to look for traces. And I remember as a kid, I used to love to write poetry and write music. I was a singer. So much that one of my uncles, who was a musician, took one of my songs and produced it. So it's pretty great. Just remembering that. And then number two, occupying the perfect niche. And he goes and he talks about once you've mastered your field, look for other subjects or skills that you can conquer. I have always had a love for writing. I've always had a love for photography. I've had a love for content creation, design, um, interior decorating, event planning, love all of it. I've mastered one or two of those things, but I've never really conquered the other ones. And I really would love to hone in on a couple of those things and combine those interests. So many times I've moved from one to the next without mastering anything. Number three is to avoid the false path, and I have fallen into this, I think a lot of people have many times, is taking a job we really didn't want because it paid the bills. I wasn't blessed with parents, well, not with parents, but with funds to, my parents weren't blessed with funds to pay for my education, so I had to do that on my own. So I took jobs in human resources, and working for OSHA and safety was miserable, but I loved management. I love leading teams. I loved helping people. I love guiding them. So I love that aspect of it. But I really just was not happy in the job because the field I chose didn't correspond with my deepest inclinations, like you said. I didn't find any fulfillment in that. Number four, he says to let go of the past. In dealing with your career, he says, it's inevitable changes. You must think in the following way. You are not tied to the particular position. Your loyalty is not to a career or a company. Many times I've stayed in a job that I wasn't happy in for years because I felt like I owed them something. Um, they paid for my tuition. I was on a management team and I led groups of people. People trusted me. They came to me. If I wasn't there, the job didn't get done, and they depended on me that much. So I stayed even though I wasn't happy because I felt like I owed them something or I was committed to them. Number five, I'm going to elaborate on this one because it hits home to me right now. Um, Most often you deviate because of the lure of money, and so it's always kind of held me back. But the way back requires a sacrifice. You cannot have everything in the present, he says. The road to mastery requires patience. You will have to keep your focus on 5 to 10 years down the road, and then you'll reap the rewards of your efforts. And that's where I am now. I took a big leap. I moved from Indiana to Florida, took a big hit in my finances when I did that. Currently working, doing social media campaigns for Gigabit Technology Company, which I love. And I also work with my boyfriend, who is a nutritionist and a fitness competitor, doing social media and building websites and stuff for him as well. So it's going to take some time, but I'm doing absolutely what I love while working on mastering the analytical side of it. And my two goals right now are to dive into lynda.com and to learn CRMs like HubSpot, and design software like Illustrator so I can create publications and brands as well. I want the graphics behind it and also to learn how to take a potential customer and convert them, into a lead. Um, and then I'm currently working with my boyfriend in nutrition, but I want to learn the ins and outs of micronutrients and how to market them. And I see myself, my dream career path in the future, working in the fitness industry and marketing, doing social media campaigns for them, maybe doing photography for models and fitness professionals and athletes, working with teams of people creating branding for this type of niche, and just helping people and changing lives. I would really love to do that. And this is my reference. Thanks.